Portions of the following program may have been pre-recorded.
The following program's views, claims, or ideas may not reflect those of WSRR Radio or StylesRebelRadio.com.
Hello, America, and welcome to Behind Enemy Lines. This is your Cleveland talk show from Pittsburgh, and you're listening on WSRR Radio. I'm Lucas Durazio, joined by Dom Farrow. You're listening live on WSRR Radio, then that means it's 10 a.m. on another manic Monday.
Let's go.
Da-na-na. Wish it was Sunday. This Sunday coming up, week 4 of the NFL season. We're 14. Forgot the teen.
It's
Week
early in the
4.
morning right now.
It is. It's a little
Monday
too early.
morning. It's a fresh start
That's
to
right.
the week. We're getting you kicked off right here.
Even though we're recording on a Friday night, December 6th, it's a Monday morning, and we are previewing, even though for you guys it's already happened, NFL Week 14, Browns in Pittsburgh, just like us, a Cleveland sports talk show in Pittsburgh this Sunday on December 8th. It's going to be a Cleveland football team in Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
Cleveland visiting Pittsburgh for their second game of the season against the Steelers, second
time
in 3 weeks.
That's right. Big game. One of us is going to look really dumb here today, but we gotta rep our teams. I'm feeling much more confident this time around than I did the first time. The first time I knew it was a trap game. I said it the episode prior. This one, I'm not feeling the same. I watched this Hard Knocks episode. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Tomlin. This team seems like they're locked in. It seems different this year. I think the Steelers, I think they're going to have their way this week with Cleveland. But Lucas, you're going to be at the game. I know before last time these teams met up, you were kind of scared going into this one. You didn't want to be upset. How are you feeling this time around?
Well, that's right. I actually will be behind enemy lines this weekend. I'll be in my Peyton Hillis jersey right in front of the Browns bench, actually.
Madden 12.
Yinzer's all around me. That's right, Madden 12 cover legend. Yinzer's all around me. I'm truly going to be behind enemy lines. Last time you said it, I was a little bit worried, mostly just because I was worried it was going to like ruin my night, that I was going to be like, man, it's so sad that, you know, we're playing the Steelers, blah, blah, blah. This time, I'm more confident in Jameis now than I was 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Not even in the fact that he'll win the game, because he has looked really good. He's looked really effective coming off that Monday night game against the Broncos where he threw for just shy of 500 yards, a couple touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns if you count to both teams, 2 pick sixes, 3 picks overall. But that's not what matters, because you know what mattered to me was the entertainment value of it.
Mm-hmm.
He's fully
fighting.
because as much as I loved Jameis Winston before, I was kind of like, yeah, he's like funny to hear, and he's like, you know, whatever. He's whatever to watch. But it was like, all right, it's been a while since he's played a lot. Is he still going to be as entertaining? Because that's really what I want. I don't want to ruin my Sunday morning by going and being bored by a blowout.
Yeah.
I just want the entertainment factor.
Exactly.
And that's what I got. That's what we got on Monday night. Again, that's what I wanted Monday night against the Broncos. I was like, just look good.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have, like, we're going to be in front of the nation again 2 weeks in a row. We don't have to win, but I just don't want to get embarrassed.
The offense was cooking.
And he looked awesome.
Bo Nix was just a little too good in that game. Broncos,
was he just a little too good, or did Jameis make a couple too many mistakes?
Yeah,
Because without the 2 pick sixes.
Jameis was working, though, at times.
He was?
The pick sixes were bad.
I mean, obviously, yeah, the majority of the game he played very well. I'd say, obviously, those 3 plays.
He gave Jerry Jeudy, a guy who's been a bust so far, probably, I think this is his 4th year into his career. He's 4.5 plus years into his career. He finally had this big game that we've been expecting now. This guy who had a tremendous career at Alabama. He was super impressive. But yeah, they just couldn't get it done. They just don't have that run offense that used to make this offense so powerful. But yeah, back to Jameis. He's super entertaining. He's a guy that I'm not doubting this week going into this game. I think he's going to throw for a lot of yards. I think Jerry Jeudy is actually coming out. You look at his stats the past 4 or 5 weeks. He's looking like a Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver. Right?
Yeah, and even against the Steelers, although it was, you know, a snow bowl and it's hard to play in that, like, his stats didn't look as good as they did against the Broncos, obviously, because the Broncos was his career night, 235 yards and touchdown returning to Denver. Had his little let me hear you moment, you know, gave the Rock, like, hand of the year in Denver. So he got his moment there. But like even against the Steelers, he didn't have great, like amazing stats that jump off the paper. But if you watch the game, like they're going to him in clutch situations, like fourth down, need a first down to stay alive and have a chance to win the game. They're throwing to Jerry Jeudy, and he's making hard catches that were like gritty plays that, you know, he did what he needed to do. He is coming into his own now, and now it makes me feel better a little bit about the Amari Cooper trade, because as much as I love Amari Cooper and I don't think it was bad to get rid of him, he is like an elite receiver. He's a top level receiver, and now just the last couple of weeks, I think that Jeudy obviously isn't there now, but he has the ability and he has the potential to get there. And he's still growing is what I'm seeing. Like, even though he is 4 years into his career, like, he's better at the end of the season right now than he was at the beginning of the season. And, like, he's now with a quarterback and in an offense, the things that they're running, that he can succeed.
This might be a hot take, but right now, if I had to take some guy for the rest of the season, I'm taking Jeudy over Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I would probably say that as well. I mean, Cooper, has he done much with Buffalo? I think he's been hurt as well.
Yeah, injuries have been an issue for him. He did pretty good to start off first 2 games. I know he had a touchdown his first week there. But, right now, Jeudy, he's kind of on a different level. And you said that his stats weren't great in the first matchup against the Steelers, but he was the best receiver in that game.
Oh, 100%.
Pickens wasn't
that's
doing
what
anything.
I mean.
But I think this week Pickens will be the guy. Russ looked phenomenal this past game.
Is it going to be
400-plus yards? I mean, this guy's back.
Russ looked good. Yeah, I don't think that Russ will be the issue in making George Pickens successful. I think that George Pickens is getting in his own way a little bit. Like, he's talking so much about, like, Greg Newsome. And, like, I got an ESPN update today.
He didn't know who he was.
Oh, yeah, George Pickens says he doesn't know who Greg Newsome is. It's like, dude, shut up. Because, like, you got in a fight with him in the back of the end zone. You know who he is. And I know that they're all annoyed with him and with the Browns secondary, because every single time they make a play, even though they're, 3-9 now, they're all dancing. They're doing these big celebrations, which I'm neither here nor there on. Like, I get it. Bring your swag and, like, all that, and you got to be confident. It is a little bit annoying, especially, like I said, when you're 3-9. But, like, there's no way that they don't know who they are and they want to shut them up. You know what I mean?
They're getting in his head for sure.
Yeah, which he's
There's no
allowing.
doubt about
He's
that.
totally allowing it. They're just rent-free in his head. A 3-9 team is rent-free in his head.
I mean, but it's rivals, division rivals.
It is.
You got to
It is,
say
but-
petty. Nameless gray faces. The Browns is the Browns. I mean, it goes on and on. We don't like them. They don't like us. It's just how it goes.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so fun. That's why I've never been to formerly Heinz, now Acrisure Stadium for any game.
Really?
Am I going to get, like, give me the layout of how it's going to go this Sunday, where I'm rocking Browns gear, Peyton Hillis jersey. Like, am I going to get heckled at all? Am I going to get a snowball thrown at me in the back of my head? Or, like, is everyone going to be chill with me when I stand up when Jameis has 300 yards and 2 touchdowns and a rushing touchdown?
As long as you're nice and you aren't loud about it, people will treat you with respect.
Okay.
They aren't pretty rude unless
So I
you're,
can't cheer for my own team?
No, you can, but if you're obnoxious about it, like if they make a big play, you can cheer, but don't be like looking up at people,
Don't
like
turn
pointing
around.
Do not turn around. Don't be pointing at
our
people.
favorite guy at the Thursday night game, Browns versus Steelers, was the guy like a section in front of us at the very end of his section who repeatedly turned around and was trying to. He was a Browns fan in Cleveland, but he's like waving the arms, trying to get the crowd on their feet. He's like, "Come on, guys, they need us.
I love that.
They need us. I'm making a difference right now." Those are my favorite guys.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
like,
mind that at all.
just because
bother me.
you're here doesn't, like, you're so close to the game, it
12th
almost is
man.
like, I can do something to make a difference, can I? It's
Everybody,
right
get
there,
up.
but you really can't.
Get up
like,
on your feet, everybody.
like, come on, guys, they need us out there. It's third down.
I was at the Ravens Steelers game 2 or 3 weeks ago, and there was a Steelers fan from me and a Ravens fan behind me. And the Ravens fan was obnoxious, and he was chanting like "scoreboard" when the Ravens were down. By the way, the Ravens would be in the red zone, but it was like 19-17. He'd be like "scoreboard." I just want to be like, "Yeah, look at it. You're losing right now, you idiot."
He just doesn't know what that means.
I don't think so. But
That's
then there was a
hilarious.
guy, like two Steelers fan, just hammered 2 rows in front of me. After every single good play the Steelers had, he would turn around, give them the double bird.
Oh,
And
yes.
every time the Ravens would have a nice play, the Ravens fan would be yelling at him, and it was just
That's cinema.
it was so annoying. That was not fun at all. The one guy like threatened to kick him out of his seats. He was like, "You do that again, you're leaving."
Oh my God, that's beautiful. I love sitting in the stands at a Browns game and hearing the uneducated football fan around me,
It's crazy.
like where they're like, "Oh, that was a hold," and I'm like, "That's in no way a hold, actually," or like something like that, where they're like, and I want to turn around and like explain to them and be like, well, the reason that such and such Kevin Stefanski's actually not that big of an idiot. It's so whatever, blah blah blah. But I know they just are too many beers deep to even have any ability to listen to me and hear me out. So it's just not worth your time. But that's why I need to go with someone who's also as equally educated on the sport and stuff, so I can be like, "Do you hear this, dumbass?"
I mean, it just blows my mind that people drop so much money, on jerseys, on tickets, and they don't understand.
Oh my
football
God, yeah,
whatsoever.
in any way.
The thing that drives me the most insane is when the Steelers will have like a 2-3 yard game, or even a 4 yard game, and fans start complaining. Oh my God, why would they do that? It's like that's just like that's an average rushing attempt in the NFL.
That's a successful
Like,
running play.
What is Tomlin doing?
A 4 yard run is a
It's
successful
like, this
play.
looks like Matt Canada's offense. It's like, just shut up. Just watch football. Every play doesn't need to be a home run. It drives me insane.
I love when they're just like, "Oh man, we got to get it out on the edge." It's like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
like that's
that easy.
That is one part that they're continually trying to do, but like, it's not just, you can't just snap your fingers and make it happen. Like, we got to get Chubb free here. We got to get him some running room. It's like, yeah,
you
obviously.
can't really run very fast anymore.
They're like, man, why are they running it up the middle? It's like,
Yeah.
that's where you run the ball in the NFL. It's not like, sometimes there's a like, you can say that in a way that makes sense. Like, man, why are we running up the middle? Our center cannot block so-and-so. Like Aaron Donald's dominating the A gaps, or they're
sometimes
crashing the
there's valid
linebackers.
complaints.
Like, but there's no, it's just like, man, we got to stop that.
What are we doing?
Yeah. People being like, why are we running on 3rd down? I'm like, because it's 4-down territory. They're obviously going to go.
Like, bro, Tomlin is so bad. He's so dumb.
We got to fire Tomlin. He's never had a losing season. That's my favorite Steelers thing.
How ridiculous is that, though? 18 years.
18, it is. I mean, he's, just because of that, he's one of the best coaches maybe of all time.
Has to be.
Yeah. But fans in the stands just fire me up. But yeah, the guy turning around and waving the arms. Our favorite guy.
I don't mind that.
My brother played Division III football at John Carroll, and my uncles used to always come to the games, and our favorite guy on the John Carroll team, I don't want to say his real name, but because I don't know his full real name, but it was Crazy something, but everyone called him Crazy Dave.
Okay.
Maybe it was something else, but that's the name I'll use. It was just like, oh yeah, there's Crazy Dave. Never played. Not a single time did my brother went there for 4 years. I went to every game. He was there for 3 of my brother's 4 years. Never played a snap.
Always had pads on.
Always. Oh yeah, he was fully dressed. Like, never played.
Helmet
but
stayed on the whole time.
ran up and down the helmet was off because he had tons of eye black on and a
Shit.
bandana.
Nice.
Like a biker bandana on, of course.
This guy's sick.
And never played. Ran up and down the sidelines the entire time, hyping up the crowd. Like, just waving, "Come on! It's 3rd down!" And like,
Would people love it?
and oh yeah, everyone loved
Really?
it. They're like, "Oh man, there's Crazy Dave. I love that guy."
But he never
And
played.
Never
Not even
played.
special
Apparently,
teams.
there was one game his senior year that he got in when they were playing a terrible team. They were blowing him out, and he fell on a fumble. He didn't do anything. Like, someone else forced the fumble, but it was just right in front of him. All he had to do was like drop face first on it, and he got it.
That was his.
And the whole team, the whole sideline just went ape shit.
that
apparently.
was his Rudy moment.
He was like, "Yes, Crazy Dave."
Davey.
Everyone was, yeah, that's right.
They
No,
carried
but
him off.
he was a better character than Rudy. He deserved the movie more than Rudy.
should write
Rudiger.
it.
That son of a bitch.
You should write it.
Maybe I should write it. It would end up coming out just like Rudy. Apparently, so the best.
You
I mean,
Rudy,
it really
except
would.
good.
Real quick before break, the best Crazy Dave story though that my brother told me is that one game he wasn't dressed. We were like, "Hey, why was Crazy Dave in the stands? He's standing in the stands front row the entire time, like leaning over to the bench, pretty much."
Not hyping people up this time.
Not really. No, like
A little
every
bit,
once in
though.
a while, but like you could tell he was like sad
His
and like
heart
whatever.
wasn't
He's
in
in
it.
his tracksuit. We're like, "Hey, why isn't Crazy Dave dressed?" He was like, "Oh, he got suspended for a game." We're like, why? He was like, well, he was at a party and someone said that the Browns suck and he pulled a knife on him. And he said, don't, like, who said the Browns suck? And the guy who got the knife pulled on him punched him in the face and knocked him out.
Wow.
One punch. Got a knife pulled on him, knocked him out right away.
Unreal.
And because of that, he didn't get to dress for the next game.
But he was welcome back the next game.
Yeah, he was back on the sidelines doing his thing. But Crazy Dave,
to kill
they needed
someone,
him.
you're out for one game.
Exactly, that's all he needed. I mean, he didn't do anything bad. Nothing ended up coming out of it. But,
Could have been.
But hey, you got to do what you got to do, and now he was back. And we will be right back. 216-859-8699. Who's your favorite psycho from college?
Hi, this is Melissa.
Hey, it's Matt.
Hi guys, my name is Ari. Coming at you from Synergy Music Studio. Come through to a Synergy Naked session.
Synergy Naked is a live performance recording, also captured on video. Look for our releases on YouTube at Synergy Music Studio.
We're located on the south side near Chicago. Passing through.
Hit up our DMs on Instagram at Synergy Music Studio. Rock hard.
Welcome back to Behind Enemy Lines, your Cleveland sports show from Pittsburgh. And because we're in Pittsburgh, we're right down the street from Hellbender Vinyl, who's bringing you this show and helps support WSR Radio. Hellbender is Pittsburgh's first and only custom vinyl record pressing plant. It's one of America's most trusted record pressing plants. Jesus, that's such a tongue twister. It's perfect for local and independent artists, just like the ones we play here at WSRR, who want to take their album release to the next level. Don't settle for a bunch of ones and zeros floating around the internet. Have a physical album release with Hellbender Vinyl. Hellbent on quality, hellbent on service, hellbendervinyl.com. Dom, what do you have?
Final talk this week.
Yeah.
Here's what I got for you. Video games. I buy Madden 19. I buy Madden 18. I buy Madden 17. You want to go back and you delete them and you want to go back and try to play them again, they're pulled from the stores, right?
Yeah.
You get a vinyl, they can't take that away from you.
Physical release, baby.
That's right. So
physical release.
That's why I support physical copies. If they can take away your video games, they can take away your music too.
And they can take away your rights.
That's right. If they really wanted to, they could.
That's why you got to stick here with WSR Radio, because this machine kills monopolies.
That's right.
Independent and local music. Support your local radio station. Support your local bands.
And the number one monopoly in the world, EA Sports and NFL football video games.
100%. Now, are they back with college football, though? Have they saved themselves?
They've redeemed themselves a little bit.
I still haven't
Madden's
bought a
back.
Madden. I haven't bought a Madden since, I didn't even buy 15. I bought 12. That's the last Madden that I bought. Someone got me 15 for Christmas. When I got my new Xbox One, it came with Madden 18.
Never played it, though.
I played Madden 18
okay.
a good amount.
Never bought it, though.
But I didn't buy it. But I've for a long time sworn that I won't do it until they kill the monopoly and 2K comes out with a NFL game.
I don't know what it will take. For some reason, I don't think I'll ever see the day.
Probably not.
It's really unfortunate. 2K, their basketball is not good anymore because there's no competition with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the root of the issue.
They got NBA Live at least.
They don't make that anymore, though.
Yeah, they do.
They do?
They still make NBA Live.
They cancel it for a few years.
I'm almost positive they
'cause
still
it was
make
so
it.
bad. I don't know who's buying that. Who's playing that game? Unless it's for free.
I accidentally bought NBA Live 20 maybe.
And you were sick.
And
you were sick.
I was. I saw it on
What is this?
I saw it on the Xbox Game Store and I was like, "Whoa, sale for $18. Sure."
Yeah, sign me
I
up.
was like, "Joel Embiid's on the cover this year?"
Hmm.
He wasn't. I was like, "Shit, this game kind of blows." But I played it for a while.
It's the holiday season right now. Christmas coming up.
That's right.
Did you ever get a video game and you're like, this video game sucks? Because most video games are pretty good and it's very thoughtful because people know you like video games, they get you one. But sometimes I'd get one and be like, I'm never playing this.
Not really. I feel like I was pretty much any game, even if it was pretty bad, I would give it a shot and try
I'd give
to
it a
make it
shot.
fun.
But it would never be. I'd give it one shot and it would always be bad. I'd be like, are you kidding me?
The only game that I ever immediately returned was I still had an Xbox 360 for a long time, and my mom one year for Christmas bought me like Madden 17, whichever one Gronk was on the cover. Was that 17?
Think so.
And most people had Xbox Ones by that time, but I was just like playing a 360, just playing like old games for like years. I didn't get one until my senior year of high school, and which I guess was around that time. I went on. I was like, "Oh man, this is awesome!" Like I've been playing Madden 12 for a long time, or 15, whatever.
Big upgrade.
So I went on, and I remember it was the first year the Browns had got those new uniforms, and I went on, and the uniforms were wrong. Like they weren't the actual, because it was like on the old gen, so they didn't care about how shitty the game was. The uniforms were like the wrong uniforms.
So
like they didn't have the
returned it for that?
numbers right, and I was like, "What the hell? Like that's weird." But like, all right, like I guess I'll play it. And like I was really excited to play with the Browns. And I remember it was Corey Coleman's rookie year. Crazy how down bad Browns fans are that I was excited to play with Corey Coleman. And
Who was
I put
that?
him. He was a Baylor receiver. The Browns drafted him in the
Okay,
first
yeah.
round. He dropped a heartbreaking pass against the Steelers the year that they went 0-16 in week 16 or 17, whatever, last game of the year.
Yeah.
Then he played in the USFL for a while. He was with like the Philly Stars. Whatever. I went on and I was like, oh yeah, new rookie receiver. Like, let me play with him, whatever. I go and I zoom in on him and they gave him like a lineman helmet and face mask. Like they didn't make it look like him, and
And
like
that ruined it for you.
his like gear was all off. And I was just like, I can't. And
These
I
guys
think
aren't
I played
trying.
I think I played like one play. I actually played like one play, maybe a drive. And then I took it out and took it to Walmart and returned
Wow.
it. And I don't even think I bought a game with it. I think I actually got like headphones or something, because I was just like, nah, I'd rather play Madden 12 with Peyton
Wow.
Hillis.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But they did redeem themselves with college football somehow.
It does look good. I'm excited to see what they'll do.
There's some
with,
issues.
like when they make another one next year. Like, will high school be back in Road to Glory?
Has to
Because
be.
right now I can't play Road to Glory. It's unplayable for
It's
me,
really
for
bad.
whatever reason.
No, it's really bad.
Will they do that? Will there was something else that like you need to have for me, but I forget what it was now. I
High
think they
school's
did
huge.
pretty good with a lot of the like traditions of college football. That was
Yeah.
one thing that like,
Coaches would be nice.
yes, having coaches in the game would add something to it. But yeah, I feel like they did a good job with like traditions, like Colorado running out with the Buffalo.
Yeah.
They do that in the game, right? I
Yeah.
don't know, like stuff like that. Like Boston College has something that they do where they'd show them in the back, all touching that eagle. Like
Yeah, they got everything down.
yeah, which I think is really cool.
Gameplay and like the tradition, the visuals and stuff. It's pretty much down. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, as far as like some of the game modes, that needs some improvement. But Madden, I finally finished the Road to Glory. Imported a character into Madden. Horrible.
Really?
Played one game. I was like, this is awful.
Now you were just bad. Your player was bad,
no,
or what do you
it
mean?
just wasn't fun at all. The
Why
gameplay
not?
is awful.
Oh, just because of Madden.
Yeah, Madden is a bad game.
It's a poor product.
Very poor.
It's a poor product, which we've seen. I'll bring it back to some Brown stock. We've seen
Let's
the
hear it.
Browns have some poor products. Jameis Winston, though, I'm getting back to him. He has not been very poor. Like I said, almost 500 yards. My question for you, Dom, before we started this was how much more, or has he done enough for Jameis? What does he have to do to come back to the Browns, to get another year, at least another year contract, and maybe, and them give him an opportunity to fight for a starting job? Because right now, I mean, everyone's saying it. They're comparing the stats on ESPN. Deshaun Watson's stats when he was starting compared to
Yeah.
Jameis Winston.
There's a couple big issues here. One is that you can't get rid of Deshaun Watson, no matter what. That's the
Because he's
biggest
too good.
issue.
Is that what you're saying?
The money's too good.
No, I know. I'm joking.
And then you have Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who still has years left on his contract, which, that's an easy cut if you wanted to keep Jameis. But then the biggest issue here is, what is the front office thinking in the draft? They're most definitely going to have a top 5 pick.
Yeah,
in this
and
year's
that's
draft.
another reason, though, why I think that Jameis can get another shot, because this quarterback draft is so weak. We've talked about that on this show before. Like, who's the best? Shador Sanders, probably. Maybe Cam Ward. Like, I'm not really sold on either of those guys. Carson Beck, definitely not. Quinn Ewers, I think he could have a long shot chance, like whatever, but he might end up being a guy who doesn't start in the NFL for 5 years,
Yeah,
And
but
there's no one really who like is a sure thing, whereas there's guys like Genty in this draft, and I mean, I don't know if he'll probably be gone by then, but Travis Hunter, there's tons of good receivers. The guy from Arizona that you love trying to say his name, right?
Tet McMillan.
Yeah, there you go.
He's nice.
Yeah, like there's plenty of other.
They're not drafting a receiver though.
Yeah, but there's plenty of other talented guys.
If they know that they can draft Shador or Cam Ward, they're probably going to take one of those guys.
No,
I think so.
I don't think they will.
I really think they will. But if it's not either of those two guys, then yeah, there's a good chance that Jameis sticks around.
Okay.
If he wins majority of his
So
games.
does he? Yeah, that's what I was going to. Does he have to win another game? We've got, what, 6 games left? Not even? 5, 4,
Four.
3, 2? I don't know.
4 games left.
Does he have to win any of them? Or does he just have to look good and they have to fight? That's in my mind. As long as the team continues to rally around him and they look decent and they look like he's leading them, I'm fine with them not winning another game. In fact, I almost prefer it just for the draft pick.
Yeah, I mean that makes more sense, but then the draft pick probably turns into a quarterback. That's the
But what
That's
if they're
the flip
not
side of
sold
the
on
issue.
anyone? What if they just say Jameis can be a bridge
Maybe.
quarterback, and then Jameis turns into Jared Goff, where he was a bridge quarterback, and now he's going to be a Super Bowl quarterback?
Yeah, but Jared Goff wasn't 31 years old when he got traded to the Rams. And another thing, I Jameis has looked good, but I think there's a lot of quarterbacks where you can send out there and have him throw 58 times, and he'll have 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
That is true.
Now, Browns
58 is an insane amount
Brown's
of times to throw the
schedule,
ball for a backup quarterback.
yeah, it's a ton. It's ridiculous, and it's not. His stats are good, but he threw that many times where I think
Uh-huh.
decent quarterback could go out there and do that. But the Browns have 5 games left, including this past weekend against the Steelers. After that, it's the Chiefs. That's a tough one. Bengals, for some reason, they're still fighting, but who knows? At that point, I don't get why you're playing Joe Burrow because they're out of the playoffs now that the Steelers whooped them. But still a tough game. Then you have the Dolphins, who keep fighting. That's another tough game. And then you finish it up with the Ravens. So I think wins, maybe 2 wins out of that.
I don't know. Again, I don't want the 2 wins.
It's a tough game.
I would
Tough-
like
tough schedule.
I would like better if they. My dream scenario is they win this weekend against the Steelers, sweep the Steelers, just so I have something to talk to people about while
Yeah.
I'm here in Pittsburgh. Hold something over their head at least.
Yeah.
Say, hey, we finished 4-13, but we swept you, so you can't say anything
Yeah,
to
you
me.
got something to say.
That would be awesome. And then they lose the remaining 4 games, help with their draft pick, and it finished 4-13. Probably a top 5 pick, right?
yeah.
Like
should
I
be.
said, or
Should
like you
be,
said.
4th pick overall.
Yeah.
You have to imagine.
And then at least, honestly, so my thing is with the Browns' future is I would like Jameis to have another year, build around him, and then maybe eventually bring in a quarterback. But if they do pick a quarterback in the draft, it's also encouraging because that means that there's a possibility that they move on from 4, which would be good.
yeah. What do you do with DTR?
I don't know. I don't think he can maybe be a backup quarterback in the league. I don't think that he has the chops to be a starter.
I don't think Jameis does either.
Really?
No.
I think he has more. I think if you put DTR in the game or you put Jameis has a better chance to win the game. You have a better chance with Jameis Winston at quarterback than
Yeah.
Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
A lot of that is experience.
Uh-huh.
Jameis was a great. He was phenomenal college athlete.
Yeah.
One of the best in the last 20 years. Dorian Thompson-Robinson wasn't that. So it should be easy to cut ties with him.
I don't know. Dorian Thompson-Robinson was pretty good in college.
he's
but
all right.
he was a UCLA. He wasn't a national champion. He wasn't a Heisman candidate.
Jameis was different.
Yeah, Jameis was. I think it's funny actually that I feel like people don't remember correctly about
Jameis.
how dominant Jameis and Florida State were. for
Jameis
2
and
years.
Mariota. That was prime.
Yeah,
That was peak.
that was peak. And then Ohio State with JT Barrett and Cardale Jones are the ones who end up winning the first college football playoff.
Yeah, that's right.
Those were better days for Ohio State fans. This
Quarterbacks
past week
used to
lost
be,
against Michigan. Don't even want to talk about it really, but
quarterbacks used to be so much more interesting in college
oh
football.
yeah. I mean,
There are no guys that really excite me this year going into the playoffs.
yeah, there's I think that it seems like all the top names in college football that like everyone's really excited about are either excited about them for off the field reasons, like or
Shedeur.
extracurricular reasons, like Shedeur Sanders. Travis Hunter, obviously, he's really good. They're excited about him because he's really good.
Yeah.
But or because they're younger. There's no one who's like, it seems like this draft, there's no one really who's coming out. It's like sure thing, except for maybe Genty and Travis Hunter. That like they're going to be names at least in the NFL.
Yeah, and even Genty. I mean, running back is just such a hard thing
Yeah, it's such a
to
crapshoot.
pin down. Hunter should be a lock to be a guy,
You would hope so.
but it just doesn't. There's no guys like Cam Newton. There are no Andrew Lucks. There are no guys like that in peak college football where you just knew that guy was going to do some things in the NFL one
Mhm.
day.
I mean, even Trevor Lawrence, he's kind of like a lock coming up, and at least now he's still like immediately a starter and a guy who's making an impact. Now I guess there were, but like Jaden Daniels didn't really dominate in college, even
No.
though he won the Heisman. Like LSU wasn't good; they didn't win the national championship.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of that is definitely the transfer portal.
Yeah,
And there's no like building up to anything. Cam Newton also transferred, to be fair.
yeah. Started at Florida, went to a JUCO, back to Auburn.
But he just had so much more time to develop. These guys, they're in and out now.
Uh-huh.
If it doesn't benefit them, then they're going to the NFL, they're transferring. There's just there's no familiarity with these players anymore.
Yeah, I think college football is lacking a little bit. We can talk really quickly before our second break about our Monday night preview. This is coming out on December 9th, Monday. You listen on the 10 a.m. block of WSRR's Morning Drive. If you're listening to us live, new episode. If not, could be a different day, but it's still 10 a.m. if you're listening on WSRR. So tonight, Monday night preview is the Bengals at the Cowboys. The Bengals are -5.5 coming into this. The over-under is set at 49.5. And Dom, your big note on our top talking topics sheet is the Simpsons Allcast. Are you fired up for that?
I'm just so confused of what it's going to be.
I don't know. I mean, they've done them in the past. They did like the Toy Story one.
Yeah, but those were designed for kids. That's the difference.
Yeah, I don't
That's
really
what
know
really
what it's going to
confused
be. Like,
I don't know who the target audience is for this exactly.
I'm not sure either. Maybe it's like,
I might tune in though.
you know what? Maybe
Where do you watch it?
I think it's on ESPN Plus or something like that.
Gotcha. So is there a Manning cast too?
I don't know. They have like
Manning
4 different
cast.
casts of this Monday night
Red
game
cast.
against of this sleeper of a Monday night game.
I mean, if they thought this was going to be a good game. At the
Yeah,
beginning of
which
the
at the
year.
beginning of the year you couldn't fault them for that.
Yeah, if you would have told me this game was happening here, I'd be like, yeah, make this the Simpsons all cast. This needs to be the Simpsons all cast game.
I don't know about needs to be, but
Because
I might have said Packers Lions instead, which was a spectacular game last night on Thursday night.
yeah, but Amazon, I think they might have first dibs nowadays. They kind of run things. Thursday night used to be sleeper games.
Yeah,
It
right
used to
now
be-
they're getting some bangers.
It used to be Jaguars Titans every single week.
Yeah,
And now it's like it might be the best football day of the week.
yeah, it's been good. It's been
Prime
you've been
time
getting a
games.
lot of good primetime games. Anyways, Bengals in this game are -5.5. Cowboys still starting Cooper Rush.
Mhm.
Bengals, though, you kind of talked like, why do you play Joe Burrow
Yeah.
at this point in the year? They're out of the playoffs pretty much. They're what, 4-8?
Yeah, I believe
And
that's right.
they don't really have much to play for it other than individual guys playing for contracts. And Joe Burrow doesn't have to worry about that. Now, there's other guys, obviously, but like, is there a point to play Joe Burrow besides to help me in my fantasy playoff chase? Because
might
I
be
do
big.
have Joe Burrow, so please don't sit him.
I wonder if the NFL, there's no way. Part of me thinks that there could be a way that like make sure these guys are playing.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
On prime
there's a
time
lot on the line
especially.
here. There's so many people that are so invested because of fantasy football.
Yeah.
Especially right now. It's like just give us 2-3 more weeks, and then
Yeah.
you can sit out. Just sit out that last week. Now you saw what happened to Trevor Lawrence. He should just sit out the rest of the season. I think he will. Chris Olave, same thing. There's just no reason when your team's out of it at this point when you're coming back from something. I hope nothing bad happens to Joe Burrow here, but like I said earlier, they're still fighting a lot for some reason. Jamar Chase still looks like top 3 receiver in the NFL.
Uh-huh.
Cowboys look awful. CeeDee Lamb doesn't look like he wants to play at all. He got paid already. So did Jamar, but he's a different breed. I'm taking Bengals minus 5.5 here.
Now, you did say like the Cowboys don't have much to play for either, but yet they beat the Commanders a couple weeks ago, which the Commanders are one of the hottest teams in football. It was a heartbreaking late loss for Commanders fans, but Cowboys are still playing hard. Cooper Rush is still a serviceable quarterback in the NFL, and he's looked pretty good. At 5.5, I would be tempted to take the Cowboys spread on that, but instead I'll take the over 49.5. I think that Cooper Rush and Joe Burrow are going to have a shootout, almost on the level of Jameis Winston and Bo Nix. Not quite, but almost on that level. 216-859-8699. Let us know what you think about this Monday night matchup.
So, your friends invited you to their annual Super Bowl party, but you can't remember if that's the sport that's played with the sticks or with the bat. No fear, just break out your trusty sporting event shirt from GenericClothes.com. But what's that you say? It's election season and your family has color-coded their entire personality again? Go ahead and play your part as the one true middleman by wearing your ambiguous political statement t-shirt. Yes, for all of your unwanted social interactions, geopolitical statements, or ideologies about the fashion industry in general, GenericClothes.com has you covered. Once again, that's GenericClothes.com.
Welcome back to Behind Enemy Lines, your Cleveland sports show from Pittsburgh, right here on WSRR Radio, The Star. You can go on WSRR Radio right now and pick up some vintage-looking WSRR Star Radio merch. There's some T-shirts being sold. We have an apology to. Speaking of clothes, first off, we're brought to you by GenericClothes.com. Nobody cares about the details. Get to the point at GenericClothes.com. But we here at Behind Enemy Lines, we have a sincere apology to issue to everyone.
That's right.
A couple weeks ago, this show is a sports-based show. And it's also a Costco guys based show, and we spent a lot of minutes and hours talking about the Costcoverse on this show, and we failed to talk about Big Boom AJ making an appearance on AEW.
His wrestling debut, Big Justice and Big AJ's wrestling debut. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I consider ourselves historians, the bookkeepers of the Costco guys. When people look back on these guys in 50 years. When they're making the Netflix documentary, they're going to pull audio from this to be like, this is what happened, this is how the people were feeling, how the culture was reacting.
Yeah, when our children's children are studying them in history class,
they'll use quotes from us.
Yeah, exactly.
As the historians, pretty much. And we
dropped
failed.
The ball.
We failed in our duty to do that last week. That was possibly, it's not the pinnacle, but so far it is. It's in their saga.
Is it bigger than the Jimmy Fallon appearance though?
Yes, 100%.
Really?
Because that was just promo. That was just promo for this big event.
Yeah, I guess, but it is kind of all been leading to this, right? It's been leading up to this for a while.
This is basically like episode 4 of Star Wars. The first one. This is the
everything.
This is the end
everything
of that.
from the match before that has been one movie. And now we're gonna move on.
Oh, his match when
his wrestling match, yeah,
early days.
No, what?
No, I'm saying that the beginning of the movie is them at Costco, and the first
and the end of
off.
it, I'm saying, is the match.
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
I should have said the beginning first, but
and
whatever.
So we're just at the beginning right now. We still got a couple more episodes
of this trilogy
of this saga, and then there's gonna be a few disappointing ones, and then Phantom Menace. That was a nightmare. Something bad will happen, but they'll turn around. Episode 3, they'll end it pretty good.
Yeah. They'll go out in a blaze of glory.
Well, right now it's really going great for them right now.
Yeah,
not too many setbacks.
Yeah,
they just seem like wholesome.
So you do think that this is bigger than being on Jimmy Fallon, though? Because Jimmy Fallon, pretty much, I would say Jimmy Fallon has a bigger reach. The Tonight Show has a bigger reach than AEW wrestling, right?
Probably, but they're not. They're never going to be back on Jimmy Fallon. Highly unlikely.
Yeah, that is true.
Which,
that's
in
true.
some ways, I guess that makes it
even bigger. That's what I'm
maybe.
saying.
But on the other half, this is what they wanted the whole time.
I think
And they
more
got it.
people in AEW, though, more AEW fans had crossover with the Costcoverse versus Jimmy Fallon. I feel like there's a lot of people who the first time ever hearing about them was on Jimmy Fallon.
And I feel like if you didn't know him before, you probably weren't gonna like keep following after them.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas people
It
in
was for the
AEW
fans.
probably knew them.
Oh my
a
god,
little
the
bit,
pop!
I would say.
The pop when Big Justice came out and speared. The
Oh
guy
my
they were
god,
fighting. I couldn't
QT
believe it.
Marshall.
That was like the biggest, the coolest thing. I got
That was like the
chills
number
watching
one
it.
payoff ever.
Yeah,
It was just it was spectacular. Yeah, I think the crowd noise is piped in, but no,
can't be.
I mean it was
I wish the Rizzler had more involvement in that fight.
the Rizzler. I thought it was hilarious because Big Boom AJ, terrible name by the way. We'll get
Yeah,
to that in a second, but he's just like in there fighting for his life, getting his ass kicked at one point, and they're like showing him like trying to get up, doing the classic wrestler thing where he
He's a
looks
natural.
like he weighs 1,000 pounds and like his
Yeah.
legs don't work and he's standing up. It's just complete agony on his face. And they look over to the Rizzler, just quick cut, no reason. He's just doing the Riz face. It's like, what did that have to do with the match at all? He had no involvement.
Like, quick,
But
get it on the Rizzler.
they're like, oh my god, you see the Rizzler over there? Just nothing.
you
to
see
do
what
with
he's
it.
doing over there?
Yeah.
He's doing the Riz face. Get it.
He's flashing it. He's flashing the Riz face. But yeah, Big Boom AJ. That's terrible. Why did they do that?
I'm
to
not a
him?
big fan of that name.
It's a terrible name.
Big Boom AJ Bufumo. Or they just call him Big Boom AJ.
I think they just called him Big Boom AJ.
But I think most wrestling characters have last names, right? All of them, for the most part. Andre the Giant, he didn't, but
Not always. Sometimes they're just one name. But
good ones have first and last. for the
I
most
feel
part.
like
Macho Man.
more now. Well,
Randy
he was
Savage.
Randy Savage. Yeah. What were you trying to
Get
say?
it on.
Macho Man didn't have a name?
No, too. Macho and
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I feel like
Ultimate Warrior.
the WWE is fully moved. Well, because we watched the most recent pay per view. We watched Survivor Series War
Horrible.
Games. It was pretty bad. I'm
Horrible.
not gonna lie. I don't understand the War Games layout. I don't understand why they made the match that way. But whatever. We notice though that they're moving obviously more towards a sports media presentation. They're making it look like a UFC event in some ways.
Yeah, in some ways.
And-
But at the same time, they're trying to make it seem realistic, but at the same time, the rules are so fake and corny. So
Yes.
if the rules are going to be so fake and corny, you got to make the whole thing match that level.
Yeah, like it was in the 90s and early 2000s.
You
But
got
my
people
only-
like in cages. For what?
yeah, I
For
don't
what? Why can't they just
understand.
stand there and then when it's their turn run? Why do you have to
The
unlock the
War
cage?
Game setup didn't make any sense why the match didn't start for 15 minutes.
Well, that's a whole
It was just kind of a
separate
waste
issue.
of
They
time.
just drag
But
things.
anyways, they, in my opinion, because of that, I feel like everyone's just a first name, last name. Like that's their gimmick. They're just a guy who wrestles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like, even though it was like there's no like The Undertaker now. Like if someone came out and just had like one name gimmick like that,
Yeah,
like
this guy's lame.
people would be like, "What the fuck is supposed? Like, what's
Yeah.
that?" But I feel like they need to get back to that.
Yeah, they need
The
more.
Boogeyman, remember him?
No.
Oh my god!
I thought that was
This guy
the
ate
idea
worms.
for you. Whoa,
No, he would come out and he would eat worms on live TV. He was awesome.
that is pretty sick. AJ, what happens when he has to go against one of those guys though?
I don't think he ever will. He
He's
broke
just
his
gonna go
foot.
against a Nice guy. He broke his foot.
You didn't know that? You're supposed to be the historian.
Or both.
He did a top rope clothesline off the top
Oh, and he finished
turnbuckle,
with the broken foot, right?
and he broke his foot. And then he was like, "I had so much adrenaline pumping through me, I had to finish.
Still
I didn't
finished.
even feel it." Beat his ass. QT Marshall got his ass beat by Big Boom AJ. But
Wow.
bad name. That was what we were trying to
Back
talk
to the
about.
subject. at hand.
Big Boom AJ. Why is his name? You said it. AJ Bufumo.
Yeah.
Why isn't it AJ Boom Fumo?
There we go.
Or AJ Babumo. That's really bad. That
yeah,
one's really bad.
Babumo doesn't work.
That one's really bad.
I was
But-
thinking before, like, you got Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He was
Yeah.
The Rock. Needs to be AJ The Boom Bufumo or Boom Fumo.
Boom
You can
Fumo.
either call
Just-
him the Boom Fumo, whatever you want.
Why couldn't it just be Big AJ? Why couldn't that just be his name?
because they need to incorporate the boom in every
Yeah.
facet.
I feel like that was what made it too corny to me, was the fact that, one, they called him Big Boom AJ. Thought that was stupid.
Lost me.
And two, like, that he had boom on his ass and then like on his pants, and that the other guy had doom on his pants.
Did he really?
You didn't notice
the
that?
guy who was fighting a doom?
QT Marshall, or however you say his name, he like made like an anti "We Bring the Boom" song. Like he said he brings the doom because it's a boomer doom meter, so he's the opposite. He was like doing the bizarro Big AJ.
Or where they
was
really
pretty
lost
much.
me was how he had cookies on his pants.
Yeah, that was
I
another
didn't
one. I
love.
was like, all right, come on, man.
Didn't love the cookies on the pants. I got a few ideas for him. I sent him a DM. The request is sent. Guys, if you're listening to it, make sure you send him a message and say respond to Dom's DM. He's got a great idea for, or just send the word boom fumo to him.
Yes,
and he'll get it.
Yes, Dom is going to be the creative director for AJ Big Boom AJ.
Number one, we're getting
year.
rid of the cookies on the pants.
Number two, he's got to go through a training sequence where his pecs get a little more toned up.
Two, next time AJ, Justice, you can do whatever the Rizzler did. Rizzler, you do the action.
Yeah, I think the Rizzler should have been in there a little bit more. I mean, he is 7, so
he could have done some electric though.
Could he have? Physically, could he have?
I saw him at the Knicks game. I saw him balling at Madison Square Garden.
He didn't even hit the rim.
He was close. He showed some prowess. He's a good kid. But yeah, I like the Rizzler a lot. I think he needs to get more involved. But back to wrestling as a whole, I just think it's a poor product right now.
I like the Rizzler a lot. That kid's got potential. I like the way you said that.
His future's bright.
Dom, you recently made a monetary investment into the WWE.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell our listeners about your investments?
Just there's a stock called TKO. It's the WWE and UFC thing. And the reason I saw this guy, he's probably a year or two younger than me. So he's
a friend of a friend.
He's about 23, 24 years old.
Friend of the show as well.
Friend of the program. He is the biggest WWE fan I've ever seen. He'll go to these events sometimes if they're close. He'll buy the pay-per-views. He'll watch everything. He knows all the characters. But the kicker is he just started watching about 4-5 years ago.
Which shocked me. He said he picked it up sophomore year of college. Whereas I watched like when I was a young child and have grown up with it and like whatever.
Which makes sense.
Which I feel like is how everyone gets into it. It's like, oh, I saw it as a kid and I thought it was awesome.
Because when you were a kid, you could like suspend your belief.
Yeah, exactly.
And you could like really get into it. I'm someone who did not watch it growing up. I cannot get into it watching it now.
No disrespect to him at all for getting into it either.
No, of course.
No, I think it's kind of awesome that he did get into it late.
Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with WWE. I respect it a lot. I think it's very entertaining. I can't suspend my belief enough.
I have a great respect for the art of it. I think it's really
I respect the business of it.
Yeah, well, that's right. You respect the business side of it.
Really
I respect the art form of it, the physicality. You know, the physicality, the charisma that they have. Excuse me. It's like it's a performance art piece. It really is. It's like doing a live play, pretty much. Yeah. It's like doing a play version of a sport, pretty much.
And they're able to get people so much more emotionally invested.
Yeah,
because it's fake.
Yeah,
and there's nothing wong with that. It's just
it's not fake. It's scripted.
Yeah, and it's just entertainment. It's physical entertainment, and it gets people like so emotional. Like there are a lot of passionate NFL fans, but I think the most passionate WWE fan is more passionate than the most passionate NFL fan.
Do you think they'll fight over it though, like an NFL fan will? Like actually get into a fist fight? Because what are they going to say? They think they should have written the story different.
Well, yeah, I guess that's the thing. There's nothing really to.
I feel like maybe they can be more passionate about it, but they're not as argumentative and what's the other word? Confrontational about it.
Yeah, and they're just so much more knowledgeable.
Yes,
I feel like
they know so much more.
Maybe I should say the average WWE fan compared to the average NFL fan
knows
so much
way
more
more
passionate
about it
and more knowledgeable about like the people and the background. Like I don't.
The fan base that they have is far more dedicated than any sports team or league is.
Yeah.
They're way more dedicated to it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm gonna watch, like I would watch every show and like whatever because they're gonna keep doing something. Our friend that we watched with actually said, he was like, sometimes it doesn't look as good as other times or whatever. He goes, but every single time they do something to surprise me, and that's why I'll never stop watching.
Yeah, I mean it crosses all ages. It's all male for the most part.
Yeah,
That's a part.
there's a few.
Yeah, there definitely are some, but
I think they're working on that too with the women's division. There's a lot more like mutual respect for them in the industry now than there were 20 years ago, whereas they were just eye candy.
in UFC,
Whereas now they're actually very talented physical wrestlers and athletes.
women's UFC is better than men's at point.
I've heard that a lot. I don't
really
watch
good.
UFC as much as you, but I've heard that from multiple people.
Yeah, WWE. It's kind of a remarkable business. The way they've turned it into something where so many people care about it.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to you about after watching Survivor Series, we talked about like some of the things that are different now from then. I actually think that like you mentioned like suspending your belief. I think that the fact that like sports media coverage is so good now hurts the WWE because the cameras are so good, the angles are better. It's like
that is an
obviously easier to see that stuff doesn't look quite as good. There's a lot of things. I talked to you about it last week, and I said that I could talk about it for an hour about what I think is different now than what was different 20 years ago and why maybe it's a little bit worse now, but maybe the storytelling's better. That's what some people say. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting industry, and now you're fiscally invested into it.
Basically an owner.
That's
now.
right. You are. You could probably call John Cena and tell him what to do.
Probably.
You could probably tell him
Cena, we need you at the next
what event.
whatever the next pay-per-view is. I don't know.
The question is,
Get
are they
him
going to
there.
put a belt on Cena in his retirement run? That's the question. 216-859-8699. Let us know your thoughts on the current state of WWE. Let us know if Cena's going to get a belt. Maybe Orton's going to get a belt this last year. Is his retirement tour coming up soon? Let us know. 216-859-8699. This has been Behind Enemy Lines. Thanks for joining us on WSRR Radio.
Peace.
The preceding program is a StylesRebelRadio.com production.